And finally, just a little side note. You're probably all aware of this, but I think it's through the Alumni Association. But there is a mentoring program that's offered for MPA students. I think it's for MPA and MUP students as well. And it's in the second cycle as we speak. In fact, my protege is right here. I actually had a few other proteges in the past. So I'm not sure when they're going to be signing up. I think it might be in the fall. But I would really encourage you, if you've not already participated in it, to consider it. It's a really valuable way to spend your time and to really learn and to grow in various areas. Okay. Our next guest is Tom Besor. I mentioned him a little bit earlier. Let me just kind of go through his bio really quickly. Tom is a solo practice transactional attorney working in areas of real estate planning, corporate counsel, real estate, and similar matters. Right. He has a long history of public service in health, urban planning, and community organization. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, the other UI, a Master of Urban Planning and Policy from UIC, and a law degree from Loyola University. Tom has been called the quintessential networker because of it. This is right from the bio here. Because of the many organizational affiliations where he seeks to make a difference in what he calls his slice of the world. And quite frankly, it's really impressive. So, without further ado, Tom Besor.
The homework that I'm going to give you guys tonight is to just go out and be yourselves and explore the interests that you have, because you've all got this incredible passion, this incredible skill deep within you. And whether or not you've chosen to open up those doors and to get out into your particular slice of the world and express yourself, that's really the key to your success. So hopefully by the end of my comments tonight, you will have a sense of engagement, a sense of excitement to get out there and leave this classroom environment and go get your feet wet and put your skills to the use. I don't know if you can all see this from the back of the room, but I put my contact information up here for good reason. This is one of the biggest skills that you can have in connecting with other people. Let people know how to reach you, how to contact you. I've had some terrific encounters with not only mentors, but colleagues, opponents, friends throughout the years, and it's all been based on this contact paradigm. We have to be open to connecting with the outside world, to sharing ideas, and to communicating with one another. My phone number is 312-725-0223 on the traditional landline. You can connect with me on Skype at Tom Besor. If you're into Twitter, you can find me there on Tom Besor is my Twitter handle. I'm also on Gmail, Facebook, and any other social network that you can think of, because that's how I express myself. That's how I communicate with potential colleagues, friends, clients, etc. We are really in an amazing time right now. Imagine yourself living in the Industrial Revolution in old-time England. It's kind of a similar concept here. We're in an electronic revolution, and you guys are right in the middle of it. The possibilities are endless to you. You've got millions of doors to open. And I don't know if you can see this slide, but this is from the movie Monsters, Inc., where they have all these doors, and they're trying to find the little girl and the right one. That's critical. You've got to be able to identify the right doors, and you've got to be able to manage those doors. So while you're considering different places to network and different ways you want to go out and explore a career option, it's really critical to manage the potential options and to get them down into a well-defined set, because you cannot open every door. It's just not possible. And so the new tools of technology, the new age networking, gives you an information overload, and it could actually cripple and handicap you in this process of getting out there and networking. So be clear in what your goals are. Sit down with an old-fashioned pen and paper and map yourself out a strategy so that you know what you're doing. Networking as a skill has not changed. It's still very important to have a clear, loud voice, a firm handshake, a ready smile. It's important to listen to people. It's important to be receptive, to be courteous and kind. These skills are never going to be replaced by technology. These are not replacement tools, the new stuff that we're talking about. Don't forget those basics. Start with your core network. A lot of the things that Jeff talked about, your family, your friends, your associates. Figure out how to use these networks to your advantage to reach out and attain some goal of making a connection in your next career field. I want to take the theoretical though and apply it a little bit to my practice. I'll let you guys know a little bit about me. I'm a sole practice attorney. I started my current law practice in Chicago a few years back, and I moved to the city, and I really didn't know a soul. I had been away for 4 or 5 years and just completely out of touch with the community. But all of a sudden one day I was in a situation where I needed to move back to Chicago and start a law practice. I didn't know a whole lot of people, again, so what I did was I developed a plan to get out there and to start exploring some things that I was familiar with and to use that experience to develop my law practice. I combined traditional footwork with an electronic technology to begin expanding my network. So I gained access to all those doors, and then I had to figure out how to retrace my steps, select the doors that I really wanted to go after, and to be responsive and responsible in seeking help. So you've probably heard a lot about these same strategies. It would really surprise me if any of this was new to you. But the point here is that you've got to be seen. You've got to volunteer, you've got to appear, you've got to join, you've got to have repetitive exposure to the people in a position to help you, you've got to play the host, you've got to listen. Again, none of these are novel concepts. It's all about getting out there and being seen and participating with the field in which you want to become an expert. One of the myths that we're going to talk about in a little bit is that you've got to have an extroverted personality. Okay, that's a good thing to have, but you don't have to be running the events. You don't have to be the top expert. You've just got to show up and participate and gradually get involved with the crowd that you want to pursue. And just by having that exposure to these opportunities, you'll eventually come up with something. So I was able to supplant this with the electronic tools of the new age, the contact database that we have available to us, the ability to use Google or Microsoft Outlook, whatever tool you want, to set reminders, to establish calendars, to send electronic notes for following up, and also the online points of connection, the LinkedIn, the Facebook, the Twitter, the mailing lists, that sort of thing. So let me give you a few specific examples. Jeff mentioned that I do have a master's degree in city planning, and that was my career before law. So I have an inherent interest in urban affairs. So when I moved into the city, I happened to find myself in the Streeterville area, and I became aware of the Streeterville Organization of Active Residents. It's an advocacy group for issues that come up, everything from housing to economic development to necessary landscaping to parks improvement. And I started going to these meetings as an attorney. You know, I had this passing interest, or I had more than a passing interest in urban planning, but I used that skill to open the door for me and to meet people. So I joined committees, talking about landscaping, talking about new developments, that sort of thing. And I got to know people, I got to meet people. And I went to not only the professional networking events, but also the social events. And it was just very important to establish a presence and to get out there and be a repeated participant in this group that I really enjoyed. I would walk down the streets of my neighborhood, Streeterville, looking up around me, and I'd see all these high-rises with all the lights on at night. And I'm thinking, wow, there's a lot of estate planning clients out here. Wow, there's a lot of condos that need to be sold around here. Wow, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that live in this neighborhood who are maybe affiliated with Northwestern University or the retail establishment. And I was just overwhelmed. As I looked around, I saw all these glass windows with lights in them, and I felt like a kid in a candy store. How can I bring all these opportunities down to me? How can I start to manage these opportunities to have some benefit to me as a young attorney trying to establish a presence? And so this is what I did. I found a community organization where I could make an impact in a small slice of the community. And by participating in those committees, people began to appreciate the volunteer effort that I put forth in the community. The next thing you know, they're asking me to serve on the board. It's like, the board? I'm not old enough to be on a board. That's crazy. But you know, it happened, and it really was beneficial to my practice because I began to meet a lot of people, and those people did. They started coming to me for their wills. They started coming to me for their real estate transactions. They started coming to me to help them set up their LLCs. So this is one specific example of how I've used networking opportunities for a personal benefit for my practice, an entrepreneurial, legal services firm. Your particular situation is going to be slightly different. You guys are, starting your careers. You're going to be getting your degrees. You need to do similar activities to ingratiate yourself with those people who are in a position to hire you. And if that means attending city hall meetings or public policy committee meetings, whatever, find an opportunity to put yourself in the same room with people who share your passions that you're pursuing as a career. Another example of what I did was I signed up with the Greater North Michigan Avenue Association. Shortly after I moved to town, it was in the fall, and there were talk of some Mickey Mouse parade going down Michigan Avenue, the Festival of Lights. And I thought that sounded really cool. I'm going to volunteer. And I did so, and as I found myself standing, manning barricades or passing out flyers, whatever, I was standing shoulder to shoulder with important people in the retail and hospitality industry along Michigan Avenue. I found myself standing next to store managers, hotel directors. It was just an amazing array of people that were associated with this particular, I call it a trade association, and that was just their volunteer opportunity to get their hands dirty and enjoy themselves while they mingled with the masses. And it was really cool. I met some really nice people, and they invited me to start coming to some committee meetings, to some luncheons, to various events. And I did the same thing with the Greater North Michigan Avenue Association that I had done with the Streeterville Association of Active Residents. And I just became a fixture with both of these groups. And they appreciated, again, my capacity to give. And it's all about giving back to the community. A third example, which is actually my favorite, which is really kind of crazy, but I'm not ashamed to tell you about it. Does anybody here know about meetup groups? Raise your hand if you've ever heard of meetup groups. Okay, that's a fair amount. Meetup is like a Facebook, only its concept is designed to facilitate club interactions. There are meetup groups for everything. I don't care if you're into knitting, yoga, entrepreneurism, hiking, camping. There's a meetup group for everything. If you go to meetup.com, you can type in your zip code and whatever interest you have. And I got into Meetup because I wanted to pursue something, an interest of long ago, hiking and camping. So I typed in the word hiking and camping in my zip code, and it came up with some groups. And it was really cool. This is an online mechanism that's designed to get you offline. The paradigm is use the internet to get off the internet. You don't sit on meetup.com for hours on end playing Farmville or whatever the hell else is out there on Facebook, but you use Meetup to learn of when active events are happening in a community near you. And then you go out and you participate with similar, like-minded people that share those interests. And my God, it was wonderful. I hadn't gone camping in probably 10 years. This was something from my undergraduate days. But next thing I knew, I found a group of buddies called the Chicagoland Backpacker Group, and we were organizing trips up to Upper Peninsula of Michigan, down to Mammoth Cave. We just started going all over the place because the internet allowed us to come together as people who share common interests.